All right, everybody. What's up, man? This is Kanal with Black Man Travels. It's Friday. We have our weekend, and we just wanted to take some time to really have a real talk conversation. Oh man, this week I've been invited to a couple podcasts where I actually spoke about my travel experiences, both good, bad, and the ugly. And yesterday I actually was on another podcast. This one guy named Red Pill Passport Bros, where he was talking about the whole scopamine issue that's going on in Colombia, where tourists are getting drugged. And I basically kind of gave the guys, I gave the audience tips and tricks on how to actually maneuver and how to avoid getting drugged. And basically, I share this with this group, but I don't want to go too much further in detail around that topic. What really caught my attention was towards the tail end of that conversation where we talked about relationship. And I couldn't help that this man kept bashing American women. And I'm like, he kind of somewhat pedestaled foreign women over American women. And I was like, okay, granted, you may have your preference, but when you constantly pedestal and when you put someone on a pedestal with no apparent reason, besides them being a foreigner, that's not a valid reason. And he and I were going back and forth during the podcast, and I kind of made a comment that kind of struck a nerve. And that comment was, and I know you guys know it, if you lame in the States, you lame overseas. And guys, I was attacked. I mean, dudes felt like dudes got in their feelings. And I was like, well, I'm speaking the truth because how do you expect, anyone to take you serious if you don't take yourself serious? If you're not taking the time to develop yourself, learn a new skill, work on your looks. Just be more presentable. You think you can't have this mindset thinking that you could just go overseas and just show up and every woman's going to worship you. And for the past 10 years, and I'm going to invite my special guest Thurman and others to actually participate, is that there is a false narrative being taught to brothers that, hey, get your passport and you're going to go overseas and everyone's going to worship you. It's like, forget what you look like, forget what you smell like, how you present yourself, whether or not you know the language. You just show up and everyone's going to want you. Everyone loves black men. That's been this narrative for the past 10 years that I've been doing this. And it's a complete bullshit. The
Yeah.
fact that, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. My bad. Keep preaching, brother.
Hey QB, what's up, man? Hey, you know what? I'm going to introduce you guys. I just give me 3 minutes, man, and
Yeah,
we're going to
yeah,
have this
yeah. Rock,
conversation going.
rock.
Yeah, guys, bring your drinks. I'm hoping that you guys are sipping some good things. I'm sipping on some wine. I really want to have this conversation. I think this conversation is way overdue. You have a lot of folks, a lot of YouTubers. I'm not going to call out their names, have been given this false lie about black men go overseas and they're going to just love you for who you are. Granted, you may not have the funds, but they're going to love you. And it's just like, that's not the case. And it's just like, when you continue to downplay your own women while putting someone else on the pedestal, you're kind of making yourself look bad. And one of the things I wanted to do is really talk about this false narrative that as a black man, just get your passport and you're going to find a woman that's going to be loyal to you. That's not the case. Granted, there are tons of amazing women that you could actually find overseas and build something with. But granted, you're gonna go through some shit first. There's gonna be a lot of shit tests that you're gonna go through, and a lot of games that you don't know because they speak in their own little language, their own little code. And trust me, sometimes the family's in it. Yes, the mother's in it. So let's go ahead and have this conversation going, man. First, I want to just take the time. This is a living legend in the travel game. He's been traveling for quite some time. He actually put me on a lot of things when I started traveling, and I can't say nothing negative about this man. This man started a successful business, domestic and overseas. Sold the business, married to a beautiful Dominican, have two amazing children, and he's actually a living testimony how you should move around in these countries and build a sustainable relationship. Not this, all right, I'm gonna go to Sasua, or I'm gonna go to Pacajeres, or I'm gonna go to Tijuana, have fun and marry a pro. I mean, hey, it is what it is. But we're gonna invite some key players into the conversation. Um, you know what? Let me just open this live now. Wow, we got some true vets, true travel vets in the game. We got QB passport flexing, King of Mexico, and
Yes.
no excuse, man of all places. And again, I already highlighted Thurman, QB passport. He's another veteran in the game. He's very thorough, detail oriented. He knows Mexico. He's been around. And again, he could tell you how things really are, the true dating scene overseas. And of course, no excuse. The guy that I actually attended his wedding in Cartagena, Colombia, a month ago, where he's married to a beautiful Afro-Colombian, but also he's a world traveler and he could do his thing. So we're gonna have this conversation, guys. And again, I posted this conversation in the Black Men Travel Face group where we, some dudes got in their feelings. They got in their feelings. I'm like, bro, I mean, don't take offense to what I have to say, man, because I've been quiet long enough. I sat back and I watched some of these YouTubers talk all this mess, and I'm like, nigga, you lying. It's like you
Hey,
selling your.
hey, Black Men's Travel. I'll be honest. The JBB, just be black. I gotta be honest. It doesn't apply in certain places. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I
and
agree.
and and I say like this: you are what you put out, and people don't understand that. And I think people never really truly understand that. You can bash women in the United States, you can bash women everywhere, but the kind of energy you put out is the kind of people that you draw towards yourself. And people really don't understand that. And I had to have a guy talk to me about the energy that I was putting out some years ago, and it totally changed my perspective on everything about how I did things. And it changed the type of people that I was going out with, the type of women. So a lot of these guys just think that it's just going to happen. Nah, nah, nah. If you meeting broke women in the United States or women who you feel are a certain way, you're going to go overseas and you're going to find some piece of trash, and then you're going to try to make her your wife. And it's going to be like, it's going to be like Meet the Fockers when they thought they had Jinx the cat, but it was some alley cat and they tore up their entire house. It's going to be the
Ooh.
same type. It's going to be the same type of scenario. You're not getting a quality woman because you're not spitting out quality energy. End of
But
story.
wait. But you going overseas? You got a passport, black man. You could get any woman you want. You could get any woman you want. You could just point at her and say, "Hey, come."
True.
No,
Go ahead,
no, no.
QB. Go ahead, QB.
Yeah. I always tell guys, like, for example, when it comes to Mexico, I say that Mexico's on your looks match. Okay, so
Hmm.
if you're used to getting 6.5s or higher in the States, you'll get the same thing in Mexico, but in volume. Okay. If you're used to cracking 7.5s to 8s, you'll get the same thing in Mexico in volume. Now, there are certain places where, okay, there's more morenos, which is more like the brown skin, and they kind of cater towards brothers. So that tipping scale is a little different compared to everything above Mexico City, which is the white Spanish blood. Um, but again, like, you have to know your surroundings. You have to know your advantages and disadvantages, your due diligence, because every state is different. Like, for example, Mexico City, there's no pay to play, like, terms is going through like a brothel or a strip club. However, that place is like, I think Mexico City population is like over 10 million people. So there's plenty of single women that you're able to meet on your looks threshold that you'll be able to match.
But QB, I have a passport and I got $40 in my pocket. Hey, and a bag of rice. What's up?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this. This is from experience. I met this, and people don't understand that the whole light skin white thing is really truly it's a serious thing, especially if you are in Santiago. You will get a lot of the light skinned, as they say, quote unquote, white women who will not give you the time of day, and then you will get one like I had who would be my friend and we would do things, but she would never bring me around her friends and never bring me around her parents. But she kept me in the shadows as a friend. It was never any money thing, but I mean, you saw. I posted pictures of her. I mean, she was a lawyer. Family had money, and I'm just like I'm not being invited to dinner. Trust me. And this went on for about 6 months, but I wasn't being invited to dinner. So you got to understand, you're going to have that. They don't want to taint, as they say, taint the blood. No matter how much your passport, I mean, how many stamps you got on your passport, you're going to meet those women who are
Facts,
like that.
But the
facts.
main, I'm high value though.
See,
I'm high value.
see,
Um,
here's the thing, Black Men's Travel. Like, I tell guys, I'm like, look, there's two things you have to deal with when you go overseas. It's basically the culture and your time. A lot of these foreign women, they know, okay, this is the American dude, he wants sex, you know? A lot of the good girls, and when I mean good girls, is like basically the decent looking women, non-pro women. They're not going to just put out right away because you're American. See, a lot of guys, they want to use their status and they want to say that they're the second coming of Black Jesus coming off the airplane. But again, it's like, yo, um, I already know you have this mindset, and I don't want to be that type of girl. You know what I'm saying? So your energy has to be different. You have to have a little patience. Instead of being a weekend warrior, take the week off. You know what I mean? Explore the country, get to know the locals, and then like the cherry is just gonna be soaking nice and juicy in your hand for dessert. You know what I'm saying?
well, I mean, no excuse. You kind of quiet there. I mean, I'm not sure what you're doing, but I mean, this is my thing, right? We've been traveling to these countries for quite a while, and the level of entitlement that I'm seeing of black men in these countries, where they
Mm,
feel like they could just have anybody,
mm-hmm.
and I see how they talk to people sometimes. I'm like, yo, bro, chill, man. It's not that serious. And it's
Fact.
just like there's a narrative where it's being taught to guys like, hey, just show up. You don't need to learn the language. You don't need to know the culture. You're gonna get a good woman that's gonna respect you. And again, granted, yes, you can find a girl to fuck you. That's easy. But you best believe she has other people that she's doing the same thing with.
Mm-hmm.
And
I go.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry to interrupt you. I met a girl who I don't know if you remember a girl named Marley. Remember Marley in
Yeah,
Santiago?
yeah,
Remember Marley in
Santiago.
Santiago? Yeah, Marley and me and her became friends, and she taught me a lot about the game. She hit me to a lot of stuff that was going on, and a lot of guys aren't going to ever get that type of person that becomes a friend and you're not interested in having sex with her. She at one time she told me before she got sick or whatever, she would have literally 30 or 40 guys that she would talk to at one time, juggling, doing whatever, and just different stuff because she said she knew what they wanted and she would just, humor them the time till they get there to get some money or whatever. But I was always wondering, how do you juggle 30, 40 guys? And she said sometimes even higher
Yeah.
that she would juggle that amount of guys and keep them all at this place, that place, and do whatever. And it was just truly amazing to see at work. And when she helped me out with my business because I had some employment issues, and she came down from Santiago and helped me out in the hearing for the employment. And I gave her money just for her time and coming down, but she was a friend. But guys aren't going to have those friends to tell them what's going on and let them know that, hey, this is a game and you part of the game.
Yeah.
Look, I can share this story with you guys. This is back in 2015 when I started going to DR. I met this girl, Haitian girl, because I'm Haitian. I thought we got a connection and all. What I mean? All right, cool. We speaking Creole. She's fine, big booty, everything, no stomach. One day she sent me a text message. I guess she was doing her rounds, and she called me Corey. And I was like, "Who the fuck is Corey?" I thought, again, I was new to this. Like, hey, I thought we was gonna get to know each other. But yo, I was basically I was on her rotation.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she called me Corey, I was like, and I kind of play along with it. I'm like, okay. It's like, are you seeing somebody? No, I'm not. That was by accident. I said, okay, it's interesting. Like Corey is an American name because I was speaking to her in Creole. And she said, oh, he's just a friend. Like, oh, okay. All right. I'm catching on. I'm reading between the lines.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, I try to tell guys, look, man, if you go into these countries for the first time, you don't know the language, just go out there and have fun. If you think that you're going to meet somebody off of these Cupid sites or Tinder, thinking that you're going to build something with them, that's not the case, man, because they actually seeing other people. And
Yeah.
I,
Facts.
I tell guys all the time, listen, by the time you get on that plane, that next dude's coming in while you flying out.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
unless
Yeah.
you met a girl that she's genuine and you should test her so many times to the point where it's like, fuck it, she passed all my damn tests. But at the same time, she could be a good test taker. But
Well. Here's the thing, Black Man's Trouble is like you got to be the best option. You know what I'm saying? So, um,
I agree.
I'm a black man traveler, and I kind of align more so with the black pill, which is looks, money, status.
Yes.
So if you're hitting, you know, all those
Wait, wait,
three.
wait, wait, wait. Hey, QB,
Mhm.
stop, stop, stop.
Go ahead.
I thought looks, status, and money doesn't matter overseas. That's only applied to the state. That's what I'm hearing in these streets. They said that doesn't matter.
Fuck
You
no.
just show up with your passport and they're gonna love you and worship you and cook you rice and beans.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I
Nah,
mean,
man.
I mean, Thurman, I mean, come on. You're
No.
OG in the game. I thought it was just
No.
look,
No.
I thought it was just you just being a good
No.
black man and showing up.
No. Half the women don't even like the way the guys dress. They think they dress like bums.
Right.
I'll be straight up and honest with you. The majority of the women they talk about, yeah, you got guys in their country in flip flops. That's because they don't have no shoes. The majority of the guys barely have any shoes, but these guys come over in flip flops and socks and Nike sandals. You're going to get a certain particular type of girl that's going to come towards you, and mostly the younger type girls, the ones who are solely in it for the money. You're not going to get that decent quality woman who has a job, maybe working at a bank or working at the electric company or, with a solid career type job with degrees. You're not going to get those type of women. Those type of women aren't going to be in your passings, in your circle, or anything that you're doing because you aren't going past the level of the resort, going out to different places like I would go to pay the electric bill and I would see people there. I would go to the bank and I would see different women there. You see these type of different people when you're going out and you're immersing yourself in the culture, but you're not going to meet those type of women if you're just hanging around the resorts, going out to like sleazy nightclubs in these areas. You're not going to meet those type of women there.
Now, QB passport. I'm going to go back to you about the
Yeah.
whole money status and what was money status and what was the last one?
Looks, money, status. But I
Yes.
I want
Can,
to
can,
address Global Paper's comment because he said that Mexicans are not on par the way in California the way that they are in New York. Um, that is not true, man. There are a lot of Mexican women that have a fetish for black men. Okay, now Mexican culture and Dominican culture, which I have not been to the DR yet. Okay, it is a totally different culture. Okay,
Yes.
totally different, like night and day different. Mexican culture is I mean they're both family oriented, but you know, out of all of Latin America, Mexico is like top dog next to Brazil. You know what I mean? A lot of people shit on Mexico thinking that, oh, they're nothing but farm workers and they sell oranges. Like, yo, those are like the migrant Mexicans, but the real Mexicans, yo, they got paper like Americans. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking drug money. I'm talking real paper, money in the family, money from Spain descent money. You know what I mean? They looking like Paul Gasol and Jose Calderon. Like, yo, there's some real motherfucking rays out there, bro. Okay.
So
Um,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. I mean, in
mhm.
Mexico, how do the Mexicans in Mexico City or like the major cities look at African American men when they visit there?
um, for me, it's always been a positive experience because here's the thing. When you want to go to venues to see good quality women, you kind of got to dress up. You know what I'm
Yes,
Yep.
saying? So,
Yep.
I agree.
right. So, with the exception of like Cancun, Tijuana, where it's like somewhat Americanized and they play the hip hop and they're lenient on dress code, when you go to like Guadalajara, Mexico City, Monterrey, um, other places, you gotta, even Mexicali, and that's a border town. Like, you gotta wear a collared shirt. You gotta wear, kind of like the slacks. Button up. They're not letting Pookie and Ray Ray up in them spaces, dog. And here's the good side about that. Most of the women, when you go into those high end lounges or nightclubs, a lot of them speak English. A lot of them been to the States. You know what I mean? So when they see a halfway decent black guy that's worldly travel, that is like, oh, okay, this is not the ghetto nigga with the passport that wears J's and think he's the shit. They're gonna open up. They're gonna be like, okay, yeah, this is the type of dude that I wouldn't mind rocking with. You know what I'm saying? And that's a small, very small minority. You know?
I I can speak from experience. Like what I noticed just like going to Brazil, DR, and other countries, other Latin countries, but also going to South Africa, is that when I changed my dress code and how I dressed and start
Yes.
looking more like I had money, I was treated completely different, and I was getting exposed to a whole different caliber of women. Even in Colombia, when I was going to Colombia, to Cali, to Bogota, in these areas, when I was like, sometimes I wear a blazer depending on the weather, or I wear some loafers, some slim fit pants, whatever. I got treated completely different, and I was exposed to a whole set of different women. So when I tell, well, when guys say, I'm gonna just show with some jersey shorts and some black socks and sandals, and I'm gonna shoot my shot, dude, that's not gonna work in every country. And that's why I think a lot of guys are delusional where they think they could just bring their same mindset what they do in the States to these countries because they thinking that these countries are third world countries or not in the same caliber of the United States, that they could just look and dress whatever they want. And guys, these ladies are talking shit about y'all.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
talking mad shit about y'all, the way y'all dress, the way y'all smell.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard some things. Go
And,
ahead.
and, and I and I tell you this, not to interrupt. What the guy was from Mexico was talking about when I was on the
Agree.
plane coming back from DR. I got on and there was these people who were. It was a group of them. I think it might have been like 15 of them. So I got on the plane last, and there was only maybe two or three seats on the plane, so I had to sit between these two women and I didn't know, of course, I heard them talking Spanish, but I didn't know where they were from. Where were they from? Mexico City. And I'm telling you like this, they were dressed to the T. The lady had on one of those linen outfits that you can tell it was that good linen, that good money. She had on angel perfume. She had on all these gold bangle bracelets, and I think she had on some Coach shoes. She had on some Coach linen type shoes to go with the outfit, and then she had a nice bag. And me and her, of course, getting better with my Spanish. We talked the whole entire flight about she wanted to know what I did. She told me what she does. They had a plastic surgery place, but literally they had went to DR for 2 weeks and they were coming back, and it was a whole entire family. She wasn't with her husband, but she was married, and you know, if you would have saw in the street, you would have thought it was just a rich white woman, but no, it was a rich white woman from Mexico who was a Mexican, and she had money. When I'm telling you, she had money. She had money. She was just telling me about some of the stuff that they did in her family, from the plastic surgery to the other kind of supermarkets that they had. She had money. So, you know, we get this illusion in our brain that these people don't have money, which is not true, because I'm looking on my street right now in DR, and everybody on my neighborhood has at least two cars. My neighbor across the street from me, he's got 4 stories on his house. The top 2 floors are nothing but a gazebo with a jacuzzi. He's got a pool table up there. He's got a grill up there. I mean, you're talking that's a good $50,000 that he put on top of his already 3 floor house. He already, you know, he has those up there. So we had this narrative that these people don't have any money, which is not true at all.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've been to places in DR and Santo Domingo where dudes are driving Ferraris, Lamborghinis,
Yes, yes.
um, and not the guys, the girls are driving it.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
girls are driving it, not the guys. And where I've been to nightclubs where, dude, I had to come correct with my clothes. I had to go to the mall and
Yes.
buy some clothes. It was
Yep.
just like I can't wear this. And it's funny. One girl I was dating at the time, she looked at me like, "No, you can't wear this. You can't wear sneakers. You got to go
Yeah.
buy some shoes." But the thing is, we think that, you know, hey, we could just show up to these countries and just look and dress whatever we want and think we could just grab any type of person. And my thing is, I think Jay Clyde made a valid point, is that I think a lot of guys are confusing pros with non-pros.
Yeah.
And they think that, oh, everyone in that country could be brought. And I hear that a lot from a lot of guys, like, yeah, yeah, man, I could get her. I just give her $40 or I give her $100 and I'll get her. I'm like, dude, you can't do that to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
No.
I
Real.
always
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no. I always say this, like they have that's a sewer trap mentality where they think any person can be brought. But once you step out of that area, it's a whole different world. But the thing is, they
Yeah.
think mentally the whole country is like that. So they think
Yeah.
they could go to any other city and approach a woman with that disrespect. Like, hey, you know, what's up? I could talk to you English, make no effort to speak in Spanish to you, making no effort to like try to accommodate you because I'm American and I got dollars.
Right. I,
Interesting story.
mhm.
On 2 occasions, I had females that wouldn't go, that I was friends with, that wouldn't go to certain areas because they were already perceived as prostitute areas.
Yes.
One was my friend from Santiago. One of my good buddies was in Sosua, and he, you know, wanted me to come down and see him. And I was staying with Shorty. She had this really nice house or whatever out there, and Garabo and Santiago, really nice place. And she said, "No, I'm not going." And I asked her why. She explained to me why. She said she didn't want somebody to think that she was down there and that she was a prostitute, or, you know, being down that area. She said, we don't go there unless we go with our families or something like that. But I'm just not going down there with a guy, you know, just to see his other friends and do whatever. And another time when I was in the zone of colonial area, a young lady wouldn't come down there and see me. And I didn't know at that time that they did this big story about prostitution in the zone of colonial area. And um, another occasion where my friends, they came up from another area, and the girls were questioning the other girls, like, what did they do, where were they from, because they were saying that these girls were prostitutes and they didn't want to be around them. And I had to tell my friend, yo, you got to bounce. My friends, they're not comfortable with your friends, and it is what it is, you know. And because we were at their house, at their pool, and they were people with money, and they didn't want to be around these girls who were obviously prostitutes who were hanging around them.
QB, I know you're about to say something.
Yeah. So I just want to address global paper. Uh, he's a brother from California, and I don't know, his experience from the Mexican culture in Cali has been a little bit different than mine. And I want to tell dudes, like, yeah, the Mexican American culture is completely different
Oh yes.
here in Mexico. Okay. Um,
But QB, I think that's what most Hispanics, because like I'm from Miami, and Miami we got Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Colombians, Brazilians, and most of the Spanish folks in Miami, they don't fuck with black folks.
mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
now you go to their country, they'll fuck with you. So
Yeah.
guys, just
Right. Well, and kind of likewise, I was saying California. Now, yeah, there are Mexican Americans that have, a lot of power where they're mayors and governors and, chief of police in certain towns. And yeah, they can be somewhat racist or semi-racist, and they just don't like brothers or whatever. But that's that Chicano culture. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
In Mexico, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it's really been nothing but love. Even semi with the police outside of Tijuana, and I'm talking outside of Tijuana, it's been nothing but love. And the same thing with like terms of like families. When I went to Veracruz, now granted, you know, there's more Morenos in Veracruz. Okay, so more brown people. The taxi driver, she invited me to her house. She made breakfast for me. She took me around. She wasn't beating me over the head on the prices. And I presented myself as a respectful dude. Like, she low key wanted me to date her daughter. She's like, yo, my daughter's
Yes.
around your age. You need to go see her in Cancun, And I'm like, okay, well, how does the daughter look? Well, like, show me. Oh yeah, she got a big booty. Okay, all right, whatever.
Well,
Daughter. Mm-hmm.
there's always an exception, and I just want to address
Yeah.
Alex Frosty. Um, I've dated Hispanic women before I started traveling. Being in Miami, I've dated Cubans, I've dated Brazilians, dated Dominicans and Puerto Ricans before I even went to their country. But I know that within it's not something that is promoted in Miami. Miami is extremely segregated.
Yes.
So so I mean, yes, when you're a teenager, you're open to things, but as these women become adults, they kind of stick to their own, and that's how it is. Um,
Hmm.
but
Right.
but but
Let
in
me
most cases, go ahead,
go
Kogi.
ahead. Um, I don't know, man. Global Paper might have had like just like a really bad experience. Like, again, I can't, I can only speak from my experience. Like, I literally grew up in like a suburb of Mexicans outside of Los Angeles, and like I was like family. You know what I mean? They're like, yo, when you come to this party, you're gonna eat well, and we're gonna make sure you get drunk off your ass. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna make sure you have a bed to yourself. Now, I don't know if it's because I was on the basketball team and I played college basketball. Like, I don't know, and I can't speak for everyone. Now, again, yes, there has been a lot of Mexican women that they don't fuck with niggas. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I fuck with niggas. I only like white guys or whatever. But then there's the opposite as well, where I don't fuck with white guys. I only like niggas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
those are ones that I experience, and it's like, yo, it's all good. It's all love. But I don't know. There's some dudes that are just bitter, um, and they just have that mindset. And like I said, I can't. I can only speak from my experiences, but I would say this, for brothers that haven't had success with like the lighter Mexican girls, anywhere south of Mexico City, which is AKA the Morenas, you will have somewhat decent success because they love brothers.
Yeah, and I actually invited T Chris and Lamar So, guys, you guys want to chime in? No excuse. You've been quiet in there, man. Are you eating busy or what?
I'm, it's like double dutch, man. I'm trying to wait, trying to find a good opportunity to come in.
All right. So, so before Lamar, before you jump in, no excuse. I want you to chime in because you've been sitting there.
Yeah, I just been listening to different perspective. I don't want to get too ahead, but just my overall opinion on appearance and reception. I kind of feel like DR has gave guys, I would say, the least desirable in the U.S. guys the most attention, and so a lot of guys therefore gravitated to DR more than any other country.
Wait,
And
wait, wait. Did you say the least desirable guys?
I said the least desirable guys, maybe in the U.S., are probably more desirable in the DR.
All right, go ahead.
So yeah, so I mean, a lot of guys even say this, like guys that go to DR get better treatment than Colombia, for example. Colombia, for example. Um, so I would say just, from the Latin countries and even South Africa, I would say that Brazil was the only country I really felt like I needed to bring my A game. DR. I mean, I felt like I could be a little bit more casual, a little bit more urban, even Colombia to a certain aspect. But Brazil, I kind of felt like I had to bring my A game because how they dress there. And
I'm
then,
not
and
gonna lie. In Brazil, I had to step up my game. They
Hmm.
they
Yes.
made it clear like we don't give a shit if you're American. I felt that. I was like, okay, I gotta learn Portuguese. I gotta like learn some phrases. You can't just show up and think that they're gonna sweat you. They look at you like, whatever. We're bigger than you. They're just like, okay. And even in Africa, I noticed in Africa, like just going out, I kind of had to step my game up a little bit and not just be that lazy American.
Can I say this? And this is something that I learned. The better you dress in these
Yes.
countries, women love it. I don't know how many women
Facts.
didn't like the way that I was dressing. I had on some soft bottom loafers. I had on some nice jeans, a nice shirt, or sometimes I even would wear a blazer with some kind of t-shirt with some slacks with some loafers, and you enter a different category of people when they look at you like that, and we need to understand that in these other countries, these people, when they go out, they like to dress, they like to look nice. I don't know how many times I've seen places where I've gotten shirts made and the guys tell me, oh man, you're getting another shirt made or whatever, and they invite me somewhere, and then you go there and then you see everybody there is dressed to a T, and you start to understand that there are other people in the country where you're at. You just need to step up your game to get to those people.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you notice too that the grade of the quality grade of these women just gets better and better and better the higher you
Yes,
go.
yes,
Like
yes,
dudes like
yes.
like dudes be sweating the girls like at the lower level. I'm like, yo, that's the crumbs. They don't want that's like once you go to that mid level and that higher grade level, you should like, man, god damn. This
They
is
come pick they come pick you up in their 2022 cars and their 2020 cars, you know, Kia K5s and Audis and stuff like that. You learn.
and in most cases they speak English too. That's what I
Right.
noticed.
Yes,
Real
yes.
quick, like this is the last kind of comment I'm going to address the global paper. He said he dated models in I don't know in California, and they're not checking for brothers in LA. But it's like, okay, if you dated baddies, Mexican baddies in LA, then that means they are checking for brothers. So I'm a little confused. But then, like I said, if you flip it and go to Mexico, if you want the super baddies, non-pro, in my opinion, the best places is Culiacan and Guadalajara. Like, oh my gosh.
Guadalajara.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking like redhead
Yes.
Mexican girls. Like, those girls got some super banging bodies. Like, Guadalajara is no joke, but they are a little bougie. Like, I'm not going to lie, but we're talking like top of the line. Top of the line in the food chain. And if you like them thick, Monterey for sure. We're talking like Kim Kardashian thick, because a lot of people don't know Mexico is one of the most diverse like countries in Latin America. So you have like Arabic Mexican, you have Chinese Mexican, you have Negro Mexican south of the border, you have Spanish Mexican, um, a little French here and there. But like, yo, like it's lit. Like you can't lose. You cannot lose.
Well, hey, I'm going to Mexico City in August. So I'm definitely this is gonna be my first Mexico trip, like first true Mexico trip in quite a while. Because my first trip I went to Cozumel, and that's not really Mexico. But well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But hey, let me invite Lamar. I know you wanted to chime in. Hey, just wanted to get your take on this whole thing about our black men delusional when it comes to women overseas, thinking that they could just grab anybody they want.
Hey, all right, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I
Can you hear
can hear
me?
you. Yeah.
Okay, okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure y'all can hear me. Yeah, okay, all right. Well, I'm also in Mexico too, right? And we met down in DR a couple times, me and
Yeah,
BK and
we
all.
did. Yeah.
And yeah, I just wanted to chime in on it. And the thing is, you're not unless you plan on staying there, you plan on living in these countries or planning on making a move there, you're not gonna really date anybody. You're not gonna like really officially date
Thank
anybody.
you.
You're gonna be like they they say it's not your girl, it's your turn, and that's basically how it's gonna be. If you believe anything else, you're delusional. That is the truth. I had a Puerto Rican guy that I knew. He died or whatever, right? But he told me before I went to Brazil the first time. He told me, "Amor de leos, amor de pendejos." Distance love is for suckers, right? So
Oh
it's
shit.
like that. I mean, I speak Spanish, and I can speak on what that guy's talking about from Monterrey, because that's where my current girlfriend is from, right? And there are some girls in Mexico that really fuck with niggas. They like rapping all that kind of shit, right? But a lot of them don't, and you just got to deal with that or whatever. Even up here, I live by the border right now, by the border of Mexico and Texas or whatever. And even up here, there are some girls that really fuck with you, and then there are some, and most of them don't, because they're really really tied to their family, and they really want to stay in the race, but they will sneak off and fuck with you. Because I've had a couple situations where I felt like I got used. You know what I mean? I had
Well,
one. Go ahead.
well, I mean, right now, a lot of YouTubers. I'm noticing everyone. It's kind of interesting with these new YouTubers, man. They go to a country for one. They go to these countries one time, and they're bona fide experts now. I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
noticed
they
that.
they
They've
lying.
been there a
They're
couple of
lying.
times, and they're like, "Hey, I know everything about this country." I'm like, "Nigga, you only been to like one block. Like you don't know anything." But they're telling their viewers that, "Hey, listen, you could just go to these countries and have any woman you want because you're an American, because you're an American black man." What's your take on that?
Are you talking about my take? My take?
Yeah, your take on it, because
Oh yeah, my take. That's a whole damn lie. That's a whole damn lie. You don't get dressed up if you're not fresh or nothing like that. It's not gonna work for you. I mean, I speak very good Spanish, and I can have a whole conversation. My girl doesn't really speak a whole lot of English, and if I don't dress right, you know what I mean. They're not gonna. You still got to be fly. You got to be fly wherever you go, because they're looking for that. They you have an advantage because they see black guys on like, or in like the rap videos, and them doing glamorous things. So just follow the reputation. You know what I mean? But you still got to be fly. You know what I mean? You're not gonna just get every girl, because they're not gonna be starstruck. The internet has made the world a lot smaller, right? So they
Hmm.
know what black guys are doing. They know what every other. There's nothing exciting. There's nothing that's gonna excite them. And another thing I want to speak on is they do know what a sugar daddy is, right? This is not a they use that exact term there. I've talked to a couple girls that have said that. Actually, I went to Mexico City about 3 weeks ago, right? And I was hanging out with my girl's like her cousin and a couple of his friends or whatever, right? And the girl straight, one of the younger girls there said straight out she's looking for a sugar daddy. They were, we're all drinking and shit like that. So they're just conversing. I'm witnessing this conversation. I've heard that many times. So so they know, they understand the sugar daddy culture, and they're gonna treat you like that. They might even call you that shit. You know what I mean? It's not.
I mean, honestly, if
Uh
someone
huh.
calls me is it Papi Chulo
Yeah,
or what's the other one? Is it Papi Chulo Thurman, or what's the other one?
yeah, yeah. Oh man, I can't think of it. You caught me off guard.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
I find that to be offensive, man. I'm like, don't call me no damn Papi Chulo. Or, I mean, is it Papi Chulo? That's another word for it. Like, you pretty much the trick. Like,
Western Union
Yeah,
Papa?
Payaso, you're a clown. Well, I
Payaso.
know, I know they'll call you a clown right in front of your face, and these guys who
yeah.
don't speak Spanish, they don't know it. They don't know that they're talking about you right in your face. You know, they calling you a clown, or they saying other kind of stuff about you. And the thing about it is, I try to tell any of these guys, I've been all around the world. I'm one of those type of people. Very few people know what I do because I like to just really move in silence. I don't have to like really do a lot of grandstanding. And I've got stamps in China, I've got stamps in Thailand, Japan, Guam, you name it, all over Europe, and mostly all over Brazil, and all over. My last passport had over 200 stamps on it. So when I roll, I roll it. That's the importance of being with an airline. But everywhere I go, it's the same thing outside these countries. If you dress a certain kind of way and you handle yourself a certain kind of way, you can move differently versus that person that they know that's a foreigner, and they're not going to give you that much respect because you're not trying to move within their culture. You're trying to keep your culture and trying to move with it, and you're bumping up against certain things, and you're not going to get those type of women. You're not going to meet those type of people. So you got to engulf yourself in their culture.
I mean, one thing, guys, you really take pride of yourself. Take pride in how you look, how you present yourself. Take time to learn the culture, learn the language. Thinking that because you have a passport and you can just arrive and just grandstand yourself is not going to work. Especially now, as someone said it, the world is a lot smaller now with YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. They have a general idea how we live in this country. So when you try to go there and try to like, with your New York hat or your Louis Vuitton belt, your Air Force One, thinking like you winning, oh, it's like they know like, oh, that's a ghetto dude, because they could tell by based on social media how certain people dress will determine a certain lifestyle. Um, like for me, when I'm about to travel, I hit the gym 2 times a day. Like I literally get into like workout mode where I'm trying to get fit, trying to look good. I'm trying to like present my best self. I don't care if I'm going to a third world country. I'm trying to present my best self. And it's just like, and you'd be amazed. By the time I land to airport to where I'm going, I get treated a certain way because I look a certain way. If you look sloppy, you look whatever, like, hey, I'm just here just to fuck hoes, then yeah, you're gonna be treated as that. But if you carry yourself as a way like you're somebody, trust me, they're gonna listen to you. They're gonna stop whatever they're doing just to help you out, and that's what I've noticed. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that as well overseas.
Can I say this? I'm gonna say two things. And when I would travel out, I would always be dressed very nice. And eventually, the girls on the other airlines would always notice me because I would always be dressed very nice. To fly out to go to other countries, because generally I would have somebody coming to pick me up, or I would be going somewhere as soon as I landed or whatever. But I'm not sure if you remember, I put a post up about a dude that he was a co-worker and he wanted to go with me, and I brought him over to DR, and I hooked him up with one of my, and now it's my wife. I hooked him up with one of her friends, beautiful older girl, nice looking, great body. Dude gets there and he has no gear. He has basketball shorts and jerseys and flip flops, and we're going out to a very nice nightclub. Dude gets drunk, pissy drunk, to the point where the girl had bought her clothes to stay with him for 3 nights. She left. and boogied, and he was there by himself. I don't know how you blow that kind of stuff where somebody basically hands you the booty and you blow it, but dude had nothing. I had to lend him gear to go out to the nightclub because you couldn't get into the nightclub unless you had on shoes and some other kind of stuff. But I don't I told dude he ruined it for everybody. My wife told me never to ask him to meet any of her friends. And at that time before she became a dentist, she was working at the women's prison, and she had what 450 women that worked there with her. Are you kidding me? And he blew it for everybody.
It's kind of interesting. A lot of guys think that these women need your money. A lot of black men go to these countries thinking that everyone is dirt poor. Everyone needs that $40 and bag of rice, and it's and that's just being promoted right now on social media. Like literally right now, they're promoting that you could grab a girl in Dominican Republic or Brazil or Colombia for $40 and a bag of rice, because black men are saying that dumb shit. And the thing is, go ahead, Lamar.
Okay, yeah. You're getting charged. You're getting charged. I mean, that's that. I mean, there's some truth to it. There's some truth to that. There are a lot of poor people over there, and we both know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these guys are talking about it like you're gonna get the girlfriend material. You're gonna get a girl that loves you forever. No, you're getting charged. You're getting charged. You're gonna go over there, and a lot of they're gonna try to put you on be the Western Union boyfriend or something like that. It's not. It's like you said. You hit up the gym before you go there. You hit up it two times a day, whatever. That's very important because they have their own guys that that are good looking. So
Man,
it's
look, I'm
not
gonna
like
you know what? I'm gonna chime in on this. I'm gonna speak the truth here. A lot of these countries I go to, I normally stay more in the middle, upper class areas. Yo, if we're gonna compare men, and I'm not gay, I'm straight.
we
These
got you. We
dudes,
got you,
man,
brother.
they come correct in these countries, man.
Always,
Man, like even
always.
the motoconcho dudes in DR. And if you look at them, man, they got their fake Jordans on.
Mm-hmm.
They got their
Fake
shirt tucked
jewelry.
in, their fake jewelry on, their pants is creased, their jeans are
Mm-hmm.
creased. They look clean, man. But yeah, we walking around here like looking like whatever.
Flip
And you
flops,
think,
whatever.
yeah, flip flops, black socks in the water. Like I see niggas wearing socks in the water, but that's another story. Man, man, but I'm just saying that like these men in these the men in these countries, they come correct when they go out. So you still competing against these men. Yes, you may have more money than them, but you don't have more swagger than them. You don't.
Yeah.
No.
That's why I said you get in charge. You get in charge. That's how they're trying to promote it on. Like you're gonna find a better. And there's another thing I want to speak on. Right. Everybody says in the United States, the dating culture is so bad. Right. Try being a broke Dominican or a broke Mexican or a broke Brazilian in one of these other countries. You're gonna have the same experience. Right. The only reason you're having a good time is because you have that almighty dollar right there, right? And
Bingo.
if you didn't have that almighty dollar, you wouldn't be. Can I curse on here?
Yeah, man, go for it.
Yeah, okay. You wouldn't be shit. You wouldn't be shit. You ain't shit to them if you don't have that almighty dollar right there, and that's pretty much that. I've dated couple Mexican girls and DR as well. I mean, I've stayed in the barrios with these girls and stuff like that, and it's like it's not a whole lot different. They complain the same way and things like that. You're not going to get a blissful situation. It's not going to be a whole lot different in my experience, right?
But
So
guys,
dress nice,
but
keep yourself together, and that's it. Go ahead.
But guys, a lot of guys on YouTube are putting these women on a pedestal, and majority of the time, the women that they put on the pedestals are the low level chicas. They're not meeting
Yep.
the mid grade or higher grade. What are your thoughts on that? How they put these women on a pedestal and just literally like fuck all American women. they're trash, they're toxic, or whatever. You need to go overseas and hook up with one of the girls overseas. But majority of the time, the guys that travel overseas are fucking with the pros, not with the regular chicks.
Let me
I,
get on that
go
right
ahead.
there.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
man.
No, no, no. I'll say like this. If you ever have been in any burial in any country, well, I'll just say DR, but I've been to other burial, I've been to other places. But if you sit in the burial all day long and you listen to what goes on, it's the same shit that goes on in the projects.
Yes,
The
yes.
same shit that goes on in the projects. Same
Cosign.
thing. This girl, that girl, this guy doing that girl. She got two kids by that girl. It's the same thing going on in the burials. And the only reason I know because my wife and them, they pretty much they own the whole block in the burial in Burial, Puerto Rico. They own the whole block. And we would just go down into the neighborhood or whatever, but it's the same shit that goes on. That's all I can say. Same shit.
Yeah, yeah. What I want to say is that if you think these girls are so good, go. You know what? Don't just go spend that 2 3 days with them. Go spend a week. Go spend a month with them. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. You won't feel the same about it. I had another guy that I talked to, and he says that any race of girls that you say is better, if anybody says that any race of girls or females is better, he hasn't dated enough of them, and that is true as a motherfucker. That is true as
Yes.
a motherfucker,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
You got like good. If you're gonna go out there, you're gonna trick off and do that, but just understand what you're doing. But I see a lot of guys talking about, oh, I'm gonna make her my wifey. You're gonna be the Western Union boyfriend. You know what I mean? And she's gonna spend it with the guy that she was running around in the barrio with. So just
Hmm.
understand what you're getting into. Don't don't think that just because you're helping her out, or you think it's this a bunch of people that'll try to help her out because they want to get with her, they want to fuck her and shit like that, right? But you're not going to be appreciated. You're not saving these girls. You're not saving them. And if you were to try to bring them to the United States, they could. I've only seen one case that I know of that a guy brought a girl to the United States and from DR or whatever, and it seems to turn out all right. But that story is still rolling, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see. But I mean it's just like I see some of these guys in the groups and some of your other group, some of the other groups, and I'm like, somebody has really sold a bad idea to them, because if you're not getting girls in the United States, right? If you're overweight and you're not in shape, and you're not getting girls in the United States, 9 times out of 10, if you were broke in these other countries, you're gonna have the same exact experience.
Wait, 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 wait,
And you're
wait, 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 wait. So if you're lame in the States, you lame overseas? That's what
yes,
you're saying?
yes,
Pues, por
Wait,
yes,
but you can't,
bro.
but
supuesta,
you
por
can't
You,
say that.
supuesta, por supuesta.
Wait, but you can't say that. You ruin the dream. You ruin the fantasy when you say
Killing the
stuff like
fantasy.
that.
Killing the fantasy.
Don't say that,
well,
please,
well,
please, because I have
I'm
faith that I could find me a wife, and because I can't get a woman here in the States, so I have to go overseas to get one. And I am a lame, and if I go overseas, would I still be a lame overseas?
and to those that
Yes.
say that right there, the truth hurts. The truth hurts, motherfucker. Get
God damn it!
Hey, hey, hey,
the
hey,
truth
hey,
hurts.
hey, hey, this is something I always used to say. These women over here overseas, they are hardened. They are hardened by poverty and they are wolves and they can sense blood a mile away. And they will sense you and they will home in on you and they will do whatever they need to do because over the time they've gained senses to where they can spot a lame dude and they know how to take advantage of you. They want to do everything they possibly can and they can spot you.
I've said this many times, and guys don't believe me. I said, like, listen, the women overseas are actually worse than the
Yes.
women here. They're more experienced than
Mhm.
women in the States. Granted, again, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of them started having sex at 12 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of men exposed to more shit than the average typical American had probably gone through. So for
Did you just
them,
hear? Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, I was saying, did you hear what I said? They're hardened. They're
Yeah.
hardened. They're hardened. And on top of that, they don't have public assistance.
Nope.
They barely have what's known as child support. So they have to make a way, and they do it whatever way they can. That's why I said they are hardened, and they
And
will spot you and they will turn you out.
Yeah,
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of guys, a lot of guys think, because they don't speak English, or that they speak a different language, they're stupid. That's not true. That's not true at all.
Well,
Here's the
they
thing.
understand English.
Yeah, even like in Dominican Republic, they have a word for like a goal. They call them chapeadoras. Okay, right? And this is a chick that just, and they do it to their own men, right? These are the chick that this is a chick that will, that tries to get, it basically a gold digger. And how it works, right? Is first they're smart, they slick. They're gonna ask you for something small, and then once you start spending, the floodgates are gonna open, and they're gonna start talking about more of their problems and how you can help them. And they're not looking for this for long term. This is like they trying to get it now, 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 now. And once you're done, you're done. so so what you're speaking on about the chicks being overseas or worse, they are more ruthless. Okay, when it comes to that, because they look at you like, imagine this, right? Imagine if Bill Gates lost $1 million. He's a billionaire. If Bill Gates loses $1 million, nobody gives a fuck, right?
Yeah.
She looks at you like Bill Gates, right? If you lose $200-300 to her, 400, whatever you decide to give her, you didn't need, and she has no remorse for you. She doesn't understand that what you had to go through, what you had to work for, what you had to do to get that money. There's not, they think all Americans are making like very, very, high salaries or whatever. So you're gonna be looked at just like that, he's rich. I can just take it from him.
But you know what? These YouTubers are telling these guys, man, like, hey, you'll find an amazing good woman overseas. They're a lot nicer than the women in the States. American women are bad. They're evil. They're toxic. They're gonna cut your throat. That's what I'm hearing. So, like, you can find a good wife overseas, but yet the majority of guys that go overseas, they go to the tourist destination spots, stay in the tourist areas, then hook up with a pro or a semi-pro, thinking that they got something.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, I speak on that. And another thing about that I find with these foreign women, right? American women are a little bit more capable. What I mean by that is, like, when you need them to do something for you,
They could
because
do it.
kind of like in these Latin American countries or whatever, the machismo is high, right? So it's like
Mhm.
you're expected to do everything like that okay, like, how those the Puerto Ricans say papi, right?
Yeah.
But when a Dominican girl asks you if she can call you papi, that means something very strong, right? It means that all her problems just became yours, right? and
Yep.
and and now, anytime she has any issue, she's going to look to you. She's not going to try to resolve the problem herself, like maybe an American chick would. I wouldn't say all of them, but there are some. I've met some very resourceful American chicks, but she's not even going to try. The problem is yours. You're Poppy. You got to do this, and I find this happens. This is a thing in Latin America. That's where I've done pretty much all my traveling or whatever.
I mean, no, it's true. It's true. And the thing is, like, these are the same guys that bitching about 50-50. Like, how do you expect, if you're bitching about 50-50 here in the States, yeah, you going overseas, you think you're going to get 50-50 overseas? Like, what country besides the
Yeah.
US have 50-50?
Yeah, I hate that. Let me.
No,
Oh, okay, no excuse coming alive. Okay, let's go.
No, I hate. I hate when guys do that. You know what I mean? We'll talk about that. They, and I'm not trying to judge, man. Like, if you're a man that's pro 50-50, cool. I'm just a man that I don't mind paying all the bills as long as she do her domestic duties. But some guys they'll say, man, if I wife a foreign chick, man, she gotta be able to bring something to the table, or when I travel over the country, she gotta be able to, treat me just like I could treat her. You know what I mean? Which it's nothing wrong with what you want, but the reality is the top tier women typically go to the local man. You know what I mean? You're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
see you're not gonna see a Beyonce with a foreign man. She gonna be with a top tier American man. That's why she with somebody like Jay-Z. Usually the ones that date out are the ones in the middle of the pack and things of that nature. So I think it's delusional to even have those expectations and to even travel to set those expectations. Like if you want to meet a foreign woman that got money, then go to a first world country like Japan or Chile or
Mm-hmm.
Europe. Don't go to these third world countries or these, yeah,
But the thing is, these third world countries are being promoted in these YouTube, across our platform. But the thing is, these guys are complaining about 50-50 like in the States, but they think they could just carry that same mindset overseas. Overseas, you're expected to be the man, the head of the household. So that means you take care of all the financial responsibilities. So you thinking that you're gonna find a fine ass Colombian, Brazilian, Peruvian, Costa Rican, and you guys gonna come to this 50-50 arrangement? That's not gonna happen.
hell no.
And to say another thing, you have to understand the educational system in most of these countries is absolutely garbage. I mean, most of them don't even go to school all day long. They go to school for 4 hours a day. Your 1 through 6, they might go from 8 to 12, and then your 7 through 12 might go from 12:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon. So they're not getting the best education. So if you do get a woman like that, if she doesn't have money to go to school to get a good education, 9 times out of 10, she's not going to be very employable and make a decent amount of money.
Right. I mean, there's doctors and lawyers in these countries that don't make shit.
And again, and it goes back to the original topic, how a lot of men are delusional when they think they could bring the American mindset overseas, and you think you got this 10, this baddie that's gonna like, okay, you want me to find a job, pay 50-50 on the bills, and still be submissive to you. And one thing I noticed, and again, this is gonna be a little segue to it, a lot of these guys are pushing. I understand every guy wants a woman to be submissive, but I think this whole submissive talk is getting is getting out of hand. I think a lot of guys don't even understand the meaning of submission. It's like, okay, you want this woman
Yeah,
to
yeah,
submit to you, but yet what the fuck are you doing for her? Like, what are you providing? Are you providing? Are you protecting her? Are you providing her the security? Are you providing the home for her to submit to you for? Like, dudes, like I sat on a few podcasts where this one guy he just kept talking about, are the women submissive? Are they submissive? I'm like,
mm,
what do you mean by that?
yeah,
It's like, well, are they submitting to you? I'm like, okay, I assume that if I'm doing my job as a man, of course she should submit to me because I'm doing my job as a man and she's doing her job as a woman. But his thing was like they all should submit to you because you're the man. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that.
no, no.
I mean, you
And
guys tell me.
I'll tell you this, and this is the conversation I got into with somebody before. We look at the Latin word submiss. We look at submissive, and it comes from a Latin word, and it means to line up with. And that's when they talk in the Bible, they talk about you being submissive to your wife, being submissive to you, and you lining up under one roof. That's all it means, is that you and your wife are on the same accord. It doesn't mean that your wife is beneath you. It doesn't mean that she's your slave. It just means that your wife has decided to line up with you on all matters in the house. And that submissive word is used not the way it's supposed to be used. And a lot of people think that it means, below you. and it's not like that. And my wife is a submissive wife, but my wife, she does the majority of the stuff on her own, and she'll ask me because that's the way they're raised. They're raised to do these type of things, and they're ways, where they respond to you and they ask you a certain thing and they ask you certain things that they might want to do because they're taught to be that way. But that's not the total being submissive like these guys think, where they're underneath you. No, it's not like that. And then when you talk to people in Latin America, women in Latin America, they don't like it because the men are expectory of it. They're expecting to get this type of treatment, and they don't like it at all. So you gotta pick your poison with that submissive type thing.
I agree. Chris, Chris, what do you think? You've been quiet. I guess he has nothing to say. No excuse. Oh, all
I'm
right,
just
Chris.
listening, man. Just listening.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. I mean, what do you think, man, about the whole submission thing? Because like right now, a lot of dudes are pushing that, and I'm like, well,
Yeah, man. But it's the selling fantasy deal. That's what what it is. That's all it is. I mean, just pushing this like, oh man, you know what? They got like little courses. They got T-shirts for sale. It's just the whole deal is telling people what they want to hear. Because I mean, like you go over there, fitness is a big deal. You come over there looking big and sloppy, man. They can see that. And that's just the most thing you be saying. You be hearing this. All you got to do is go over here and got to do this. Like, no, man. Like these people got standards. They got preferences.
hey,
So,
it's kind of
it's even worse over there. Like you said, I be like, man, like people dress business casual. All the men are usually business casual. They got jeans on. It's 100 degrees in Cali, Panama, some of the places. Nigga, I got shots on.
Yep.
Man, they like jeans on. I mean, a guy I rode with. I'm like, damn, brother got a towel out, ran in the hotel and everything. I'm like, no, man, just nice t-shirt, jeans. Like you said, from the monoculture, everybody takes their appearance seriously.
Yes.
I just,
Yes. Have you?
it's a fantasy, like you said. The brothers are making a dollar on it, telling me this foolishness, and they pandering it all through the YouTubes and all these different groups, and you like, oh no, I see where this is going. So I'm glad you dropping the hammer down tonight.
I mean, it's just kind of interesting because, like like you said, if you go to these countries, it could be 100 degrees outside. They wearing pants.
Yeah,
everyone's wearing pants, button-down shirt, and they shirts are tucked in. You guys notice that?
Yep.
The
Business
shirts are
casual.
tucked in with
Mm-hmm.
the belt, and I'm like, I'm paying attention to this. I'm like, shit. Maybe I need to change my dress code while in these countries, man. I'm like, okay, I need to change up a little bit, but I have taken more of a cautious effort to dress more professional, like when I go out at night.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So when we go out to dinner, it's like, all right, cool. Let me wear the slacks. Let me wear the loafers. Let me wear the button down.
even going to the
Before,
mall.
Yep.
Even
yeah,
going to the mall. Like
yeah,
they want you to look nice.
yeah, and it's just like that takes it. I mean, they look at that, but the thing is, you got guys saying just show up as as you are. There's no
No.
reason for you to betterment your to better yourself, and that's my problem because we as black men, we don't like to be told what to do and how to become better. It's just like, hey, we always want the shortcut to everything. Like I was telling these
Oh my.
brothers, like, hey, listen, he wants to date, he wants a Dominican wife, right? I mean, the guy, he's a big guy, and I'm telling like, well, hey man, you may want to lose some weight. Well, why? I'm like, dude, you want to lose some weight, man? It's like you should lose some weight. It's gonna help you in your appearance because again, these women overseas, they're more vain than American women. I'm just being honest.
Yep.
But they just don't say it. I think American women, they say
Yep.
it.
And I'll be honest with you. I had a girl tell me one time that I was a little fat. I was like, okay, it's time for me to lose some weight. She was honest with me. She was like, "You're a little fat, Poppy." I was like, oh. She said, you sabe you gordo? Dime? You
Hey,
gordo.
yo,
Necesito.
dude, my main told me she called me fat, man. I was like, what? Dude, that shit ruined my whole entire day. I was like, the fuck? I was like, she called me fat. And I was like, oh hell no, man. I gotta get back to the gym. I gotta get back to like, make sure I'm eating clean again.
Yeah,
Because
man.
again, they pay attention to stuff like that.
Yeah.
These women, as much as you want a bad chick in your hand, they want a attractive man around their hands.
Exactly, man. And
They want at least a man that looks like he has power
I'm
or he
telling
has some type of status or influence.
you, yeah, man. Man, they don't want to float around with anybody. I mean, it sounds good, but that ain't
I
the
mean,
reality, Jack.
Thurman. I mean, you pretty much a businessman out there in DR. You tell us, man. I mean, how like what type of guy do women want overseas? Like when they date a
I, I,
foreigner.
I tell you like this. I tell you like this. If you open up a business in DR, you can pick which type of woman you want because now you're respected among certain people in certain categories if you open up a business. But I'll be honest with you, the majority of the time, the women that I dated, that I went out with, you had to dress a certain way because like you around their family members and other type of people, and you know, all my wife's family, they're mostly professionals. My wife's sister, she's a professor at a college. My wife's other sister, she's an engineer. Her husband is a computer analyst. So these aren't just poor people. And also my sister, my other sister-in-law, she owns the Bond ice cream places. She owns three of those.
Mm,
So you're talking about a family who has tradition and other kind of stuff, and they look for you to be a certain kind of way. When my wife was going out to work, in her uniform, it would be crisp and clean every single solitary day. When she goes out and she dresses, and now she dresses crisp and clean every day. And she would tell me, man, I got to make sure I'm dressed with you so that we can look good together. So you got to understand, you have to dress a certain kind of way. If you're going to be with one of these women, you have to dress a certain kind of way. And not to make it a to take away illusion. If you're not coming here or you're not going to these countries where you meet a woman who you like, if you're not visiting there 2 or 3 times a month, forget it. You're not dating her. You're just a guy who's there. But if you're coming 2 or 3 times a week, there's some realistic there, and you're starting to meet people and you're planning on doing certain things. But if you're not traveling a bunch of times, forget it. Somebody sold you a fantasy that you are not going to like the end result of it.
Hey, Thurman, do you know Dean in DR?
Where at? Where at?
Dean Cole. I mean, he had the restaurant Atlanta Lights in Puerto Plata, but
No, 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 no. I don't know him. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know him personally.
okay. I was gonna bring him up because he's a well dressed businessman. Carries himself nice, but he has problems with women. It's not easy for him to
Why
find.
is that? Why is that?
I don't know. But if we're going off the narrative that you dressed the part, he's a businessman.
I
Um,
think I think it's his personality, to be honest.
Can I say this?
mhm.
You cannot start having sex with a bunch of women and expect to all of a sudden jump to a certain category. If you started out like messing with certain women, like I'll be honest with you, like where I used to have my place at, there used to be these women that would try to get guys in for massages or do whatever. And one time the girl asked me if she could give me a manicure, but not, at the place so she wouldn't have to pay him commission. So she came over and she gave me a manicure. Of course, she asked if I wanted to pay for sex. She told me she wanted 800 pesos. And I was like, 800 pesos? I said, are you serious? I said, no, we're not having sex. Here's 800 pesos. Give me the manicure and leave because I didn't want them talking about me. And then they start to form certain opinions about you. And then it's harder for you to talk to the women because now those women talk. They talk. If you paying for it or you doing whatever, they talk. They gossip nonstop.
You know what? Can I share something with you guys? Um, last year during the pandemic, I was in DR. I think I was out there for about a month. I went to Sasua, just hanging out with some of the guys. There was some guys down there, so I drove from Cariete to Sasua. And the girls were like, I didn't know there was some girls like looking at me. They noticed that they came up to me, and I brought them a beer or whatever. It didn't bother me. We were just having a conversation, and they say that every time we see you, we never see you with somebody. You're always by yourself. Like meaning that they never see me with another woman. Like at least one of the girls, on the strip. I was like, well, I mean, I'm just cool. Like I'm not really that pressed. And they said they like that. They say that because they look at the type of guys, I mean, the type of girls guys walk away with. So when you think, all right, I'm about to get it in, I'm about to bust a nut, they looking at, okay, what type of girls he's smashing, even if he's still paying for it. And they pay. I didn't realize that they pay attention to stuff like that. They know when you walking away with somebody, and they look at that person like, wow, you chose her, like her. So just be mindful of that, guys. They like people are always watching you, and I always tell people that there's someone watching you, and the fact that they told me like, we noticed that you just when we see you by yourself, you kind of relax and chill, you're not pressed. They was like, that's kind of impressive. And when I told them my age, they was like, dang, you don't look your age. And I'm like, well, hey, shit, is what it is. But it's just keep that in mind, guys. When you're walking around, moving around these cities, people are always watching you and they looking at your behavior and your demeanor. So just keep that in mind. That's just kind of interesting.
And I
Yeah.
don't know the guy Dean. I don't know the guy. So sorry to interrupt. I don't know the guy Dean, but I'm gonna give you my experience that I was having. I would have to hide in the back of my restaurant. So because the girls would come by looking for me, because they would see me in front, and the girls, I guess the girls would work for them would tell me that I own the place, but I would literally have to hide in the back during certain times, and it would be girls that would sit outside. I mean, good looking girls that would sit outside and wait for me to get off to talk to me because they understand that I own the place, and hey, I would come down there, but I'm not talking about just regular women. These are women who would come by. They would be nurses in the hospital or whatever, and different type of stuff. But I don't know what dude's doing up there. But sound like he's been smashing a lot, and he's got quite a reputation.
Yeah, that's probably it. Reputation, smash a lot of chicks, people watching you. They look at the people you walking around with. And again, it goes back to what I just said earlier. People are paying attention how you move. So you out there smashing every chick you meet and you trying to find a good girl in these countries, they look at that stuff and people talk. A lot of people are cousins. Don't forget that too. A lot of these girls
Hmm.
are
And
cousins.
let me chime in on that too, right? We don't really use WhatsApp in the United States, but them WhatsApp groups be jumping over there. I'm telling you, I'm telling
Wow,
you, they
wow.
they know they like. As soon as you get off the plane, they they usually know. As soon as you enter social,
Yeah. The WhatsApp groups. Let me tell you guys about these WhatsApp groups. I think a lot of you guys are probably new to WhatsApp, but WhatsApp has been around for the past 6, 7 years now. We've been using it, and this is
Hmm.
before we came to the states. There are WhatsApp groups where these girls will, and again, these groups can have like 200 people in it. They will pass your picture around in these groups, and
Yep.
they will label you as cheap, abusive, whatever tag they label you. So when you walk in these streets, in these cities, you already have a label on your head because they already tagged you. So depending on how aggressive you are, or how cheap you are, or how you move, look, they say, hey, don't mess with this dude right here. They'll post a picture, and granted, they may have some video of you, and they'll just use that as another way to punk you. Dude, these WhatsApp group can be very vicious at times, guys. Just keep that in mind. As much as we
yeah,
have our own WhatsApp group, they have theirs.
Yep. And they'll label you as a mark and say, hey, I'm getting XYZ amount of dollars from this
Oh
guy.
yeah,
And then they'll put another girl on you so she can get money from her. And it'll be three or four of them, and they're all working together. But they're
yeah,
trying to they're getting money from you.
yeah, guys. I mean, again, when you're thinking about you going overseas trying to find a wife, just be smart, be realistic. Um, just understand, just set your level of expectations, man. Know where you stand physically, mentally, financially. Don't try to position yourself more than what you are, because they're gonna find out eventually. I know a lot of guys, they try to make themselves like they're rich, then they bring the girls back to the States to live somewhere in the cottage. I've heard these crazy stories, man, and like just be who you are, work on yourself, and just have a good time. If you're there to have a good time, that's it. Keep it as that. If you're looking for a wife, don't try to find a wife in a whore destination. Like, don't go to Sasua, don't go to Pocket Jerry's, don't go to 4x4 trying to look for a wife.
Clock tower and all
Clock
the
towers. Yeah.
places.
It's just like, come on, man. Oh, she changed. Like, nah, bro. She's still in these streets, man. And
Yeah.
no, this has been really good. I mean, I didn't expect this to go this long. I mean, any last thoughts what you guys want to give to the audience? What do you guys think about, for the guys out there that just starting to travel and they probably looking for a wife or a girlfriend? What advice would you give them?
All
Let's
right,
start
I'll
with
go. I'll
Chris.
go.
Oh,
Okay, Chris, go ahead.
go ahead, Chris. Start it.
Use your mind, use common sense, just be honest with yourself. That'd be mostly, and like I said, you listen to the vets. I mean, everybody want to rewrite the script, but this has been going on before we got here. So just stop looking at the thumbnails and let's get realistic out here. That's my take, and I'm waiting on part two because they gonna come back at you hard, real hard.
All right. Lamar, what about you?
All right, I would say if you ain't planning on going and living in that country that you're trying, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Because if you're not gonna go there, you're not gonna spend no time there. You're not gonna learn the culture. Just realize you're just having some fun and that's it, and don't it, because you're just gonna get played or whatever, right? You got to live there, and you gotta immerse yourself in the situation and even find out if that's what you want, because once you get there and you stay some time, you might find out you don't want it, right? So that's my thing. If you're not going to spend some time in a place, or you're not going to go there and live there, don't consider that your wifey. That's just a girl you paying to deal with. That's it.
Okay. Thurman?
And to re-sign off on what he just said, do you know where I'm at right now? Let me tell you, I'm in my house in DR with my wife and my kids. So if you're not willing to do that, forget it. And I'm gonna tell you like this: I was with my wife for 5 years before I decided to, settle down or whatever. But within those times, I was honest with my wife, and I told her that I was seeing other girls, and she was very patient, and she waited through attrition. But don't think that you guys are doing anything. You guys are just scraping the surface of what's really happening. If you start going to these markets and other places and you start seeing the different women that are out there, you'll change your perspective about going to, the tourist areas, and what's going on, because you don't really know what's going on. So, if you're there for a weekend party, be there for a weekend party and call it a day. Don't, don't hit on girls don't hit on girls at the airport, because they are the most hit on girls. Don't hit on girls at the resort. Don't hit on
Hmm.
girls at the restaurants. All those girls are girls that are the most hit on girls, and those are your vets who are going to turn you into a Western Union guy. And that's it. And don't be scared to travel solo. Travel solo and enjoy yourself, because you'll meet a lot more girls that way. If a girl sees you by yourself and she's not one of these pros, she's more likely to go out with you because she doesn't feel threatened because you with her guys of, flip flops and socks. So, that's my take on it.
All right, all
Yeah,
right.
I support that statement right there. Travel by yourself. That you'll have a better time. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I, I, no, I totally agree with that. I think I've been traveling alone for quite a while, and I've met more quality women when I traveled alone. So Never felt that I needed to be part of a clique or crew to travel. I got more quality ass just traveling alone and just making more effort. And I think too, when you travel alone, you're forced to speak the language. You're forced to you
Yes.
force yourself to immerse yourself in the culture because you're by yourself. So now it's like, okay, I got to learn this. Versus when you out with your friends or with your crew, you kind of have your friends that you can rely on and just speak English to them and ignore everyone else. But guys, just enjoy your travels, man. I mean, unless you know for a fact that it's something you want to explore a relationship overseas, make sure you vet that person, man. Don't be quick to just fall in love and stay away from the tourist areas. Like the typical spots, don't meet someone there. Go somewhere outside of that and just again, apply yourself. And one last thing too, work on yourself, man. Either be physically, mentally, financially, emotionally. I mean, if you got some emotional issues that you're dealing with, where you hate women in general in the States, more than likely you're gonna hate women overseas as well. Because let's keep it real, guys. All women are the same. They're all the fucking same. And it's all about your tolerance level. That's the way I see it, man. But overall, guys, I just want to just bring the real truth to you guys. I'm not gonna sell you any dreams. These are true veterans that have traveled the world within the past 15 to 25 years. And we're not here for views. We're not here for likes. We're just here to let you know, like, listen, if you want that wife, you can find that wife, but you got to work for it. It's not going to come easy. You're not going to just show up with $40 and a bag of rice and think you're going to find a wife. That it's not going to happen. So continue to work on yourself. Continue to learn whatever culture that you want to learn to find that particular wife or girlfriend or whatever you're looking for. Apply yourself and but also just enjoy yourself, man. Travel alone. You don't need a clique. You don't need a crew. Go out there, get on a plane, and just live your life. And who knows, you may meet someone during the process. But you out there looking for it, you're gonna find the wrong thing. But if you just let it happen naturally, organically, then you may find a good thing. So I just want to say that, and just want to say thank you guys for making the time yourself on a Friday night to come out and have this conversation. I think is this is a conversation that needed to be had because these YouTubers, man, some of these. Oh. But anyways, thank you guys for everything. This is Black Man Travels just signing out. We definitely gonna have another podcast around expat life and working remotely. So we want to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to find a job on online where you can work remote while living overseas. So we definitely want to put you guys in a good position to win. Until next time, have a great weekend and blessings, man. Thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.